Hi there, I am Connie Fuchsa and I own Foote Title Group. We handle real estate closings for the home that you were purchasing, that you saved all of that hard-earned money for your dream home. We also handle refinance closings, and if you're buying a piece of property or if you're getting a loan to build a home on a piece of property, we can handle all that as well. So we are live today. I want to talk to you a little bit about a question that I get all the time about the difference between a deed and a title. And first, I just want to tell you a little bit about me and what our business and our company is all about. So I am very passionate about making sure that hello, Monique. Thank you for joining in. Hello, Anita. Thank you so much for joining in. So I want to tell you a little bit about us first. Title companies handle closings for all different types of purchases that you're doing for real estate. But what I want to talk to you about most, what we are so specialty about is, hi Carla, thanks so much for joining in. We are very passionate about making sure that the home buying process is not overwhelming and stressful as it typically is. We understand how overwhelming and stressful that process can be, and it is our goal, mission, and passion, hey Kathy, to make sure that that process is simple, easy to understand, that you're kept in the loop every step of the way, and we make sure that you and your home are protected after closing. So what I want to talk to you about today, as I said, is the difference between a title and a deed. I get this question all the time because a lot of people equate it to buying a car and how that actually works and what those things mean. So the title to a piece of property is actually the process that the property went through every single owner that's ever owned that piece of property. So it's actually called a chain of title, and the title is where we actually search back through every owner. Typically the rule is in our industry 60 years. It would be where something would come up if it would cause a problem with that ownership. So we search back 60 years in the ownership chain of that piece of property, and that's called the title. And we actually get a report. We work with abstractors that are in the local courthouses where the property is located, and those abstractors do an abstract of title, which is an actual report about the chain of title of ownership through 60 years of that piece of property. And so it'll tell us every single person or company who's owned that piece of property, how long they owned it, did they have any mortgages on it, what all of those different things that have happened with that chain of title on that piece of property. So we can actually make sure we do some searching. Hey Gerald, how are you? Thanks so much for joining in. We actually check through that chain and make sure that every single ownership was valid, that any mortgages or liens that were placed on the property during that ownership have been properly taken care of. And also, we want to make sure that there's no problems or no questions about that ownership while that particular person owned it, because we want to make sure that there is no concern that you could have after you take ownership of that property. So the chain of title, or the title, is actually the history of that piece of property. Whereas the deed is the document that the seller of the piece of property signs, and their signature is notarized, so we can verify that that is in fact the right person selling that property. That seller signs a deed, which is the actual document that transfers the ownership from that seller to you as the new buyer. And a deed is only done when a piece of property is being transferred. And it's the only way a piece of property can be transferred. There's no other way other than a court action. If there's a title issue, then that potentially could happen. But other than that, there's no other way that ownership can transfer. Sometimes I get a question about a couple that may be getting divorced, and in the divorce decree it says that one of the dividing spouses would get the ownership of that piece of property, and does that suffice? No, it doesn't. Yeah, the deed actually has to be done transferring that spouse's interest to the other spouse. So the deed is the actual document that transfers the title. Sort of like with a vehicle, your title, when that's signed over to another person, that transfers it. But title in a real estate atmosphere means a totally different thing. As I said, it is the actual chain of ownership through the whole ownership of the property, and counts back and recounts, excuse me, back through each owner how that title actually was held, how long it was held, and who actually owned it. So it is the ownership process is the title, and the deed is the actual document that transfers that ownership from one person to another. And when that deed is transferred or signed off on and then is recorded in the land records where that property is located, that deed now becomes part of that chain of title or part of that title. So the deed is something that's within that title. So true would be if we recorded a mortgage or any other documentation was recorded about the ownership of that property, that would become part of that title or that chain of title. So the next time it was searched, that would be part of that information. So hopefully that helped you out a little bit. What I try to do is provide you with resources and information on all the things that we've experienced over our 30 years worth of home closings. And actually this year is our 30-year anniversary. We're celebrating this month. So thank you all for your support and for all of the business. And we try to make sure that all the information that we have available, we put it out there so it makes your process a whole lot simpler and hopefully answers questions for you. So I'm always here to help with resources and information. I love to answer questions. As a matter of fact, if you have questions, I'd love for you to reach out and ask those questions to me so I know what to talk about on future videos, because I want to answer questions that you have so I can make your process easier. That's what I'm passionate about. We want your home closing to be the simple part of the process of buying a home. Thank you so much, Monique. You rock too. I'm Connie Fuchsa with Foote Title Group. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of information. Thank you so much. I love bright colors, so yellow is a good color for me. Thank you very much. Yellow, red, orange, I love all the bright colors. So if there's anything I can do to help you out with any information, please reach out and ask questions, because that way it'll help me have information for the future to help other people that might have the same question. Thanks, Gerald. I really appreciate your support and your feedback. So I am Connie Fuchsa with Foote Title Group. Get in the know with Foote Title Group. We like to keep you in the know zone. Hopefully you're having an awesome day, and I look forward to talking to you again real soon, because at Foote Title Group, your home closing should be the simple part. Thanks so much.